Hey guys, it's Alex Torelli, and welcome back to this week's Hand of the Week, right here from Las Vegas. So this hand comes to you from the 10,000 heads-up event at the World Series of Poker. I got really lucky my first round to get a bye, but unfortunately my second round I was up against Erik Seidel. So I knew I was in for a tough match. And a little bit of our history, the blinds were 300, 600 at this point, and I had been bluffing him quite a bit. He'd been calling me down pretty light. So the following hand comes up, he opens to 1200, and I make it 4200 with two kings. He calls. And the flop comes 7-5 deuce rainbow. Great flop for me. Of course, I'm planning on just betting 3 times here. It's a great flop, great spot. I have about 40,000 in chips to start the hand. The pot's about 8,500. I bet 4,000, he calls. The turn is an 8, bringing a flush draw. So now we're at 7-5 deuce 8 with 2 hearts. And I go ahead and bet again. I bet about, let's see, about 9,000, 10,000. Actually, I think I bet bigger. I bet about 12,000. And the reason I bet bigger here is because, hang on, I'm changing lanes. The reason I bet bigger here is because I know that this card is really going to help my opponent. And basically all the hands that Erik called the flop with, 6-7, 5-6, 8-9, all these hands now have picked up more equity on the turn. So I know he's going to be calling the turn again because he's just going to have enough odds to call with pretty much most of the hands he's calling the flop with. So I decided to bet a little bit bigger here and kind of really cut down on his odds to call me. Of course, I'm not thrilled with my hand at this point. I know I'm almost 100% sure I have the best hand when he just calls, which he does. He just calls, but there's a lot of rivers that are really bad for me. The river comes the ace of hearts, and you know, I have about 25K left. And the pot is like 35, 40K. So it's really an interesting river for me because the backdoor flush got there. I have the king of hearts, but it's really hard for it's really hard for me to have an ace in my hand because I'm not really re-raising and betting the flop and the turn with an ace that often. So there's not many hands that I'm gonna be value betting here. I'm either gonna have really, really strong hands or complete bluffs. But I didn't really want to check and be put in a really tough spot against Erik where he might be turning a hand into a bluff or value betting a hand. So I decided to make a interesting bet size of about 10,000, which was about 40% of my stack. And I really thought it would be impossible for him to bluff raise me here. And he might still call me down with all those in-between mediocre hands that we talked about him likely having on the turn. Thinking that, you know, I'm either bluffing or I have a huge hand, and he's getting such a good price to call. He had more chips than me. He might call me down. Unfortunately, he raised me on the river, and you know, I felt pretty confident after thinking about it that he had it. I folded. That hand really left me crippled, and Erik went on to win the match, and I busted in the first round. But that was my hand of the day. Hope you took something from it. Thought it was a really interesting spot on the turn in the river with the bet sizing, and got to give it to Erik. He played well. Anyway, see you next time right here from Vegas. Cheers. Oh, I almost forgot. If you like this video, the hand of the day, Las Vegas, or me driving around in my car, don't forget to subscribe to the blog. More free updates coming your way. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought and some more stuff you'd like to hear from me. All right, take it easy, guys. See you next week.